Hi everybody, I'm Alan Cathcart and this is Triumph's new entry-level adventure bike. It's not exactly an adventure tourer because although you can ride it on this kind of hard-packed gravel, it's really a road bike. And what it is essentially is the Go Anywhere version of Triumph's entry-level Trident 660, which was launched 10 months ago and has been a huge smash hit. 15,500 bikes sold in the first 10 months after it was launched. However, there's a £1,200 price difference, more or less, between this and the Trident. And I have to say, after riding it for about 180 miles through the cork forests and the hills of southern Portugal, this is really worth the extra dosh. Why? Well, first of all, it's a go anywhere bike. It's what the Italians call a Moto totale. Very good term for this because it's a commuter. You're sitting relatively high up. You're looking straight ahead over traffic, over the roofs of cars. You can plan, navigate city traffic very easily. It's an adventure tourer within limits. It won't be any good with these tires in mud, but on this kind of hard-packed surface, excellent. The extra height on the handlebars and the slightly wider bars give you great leverage. So we've been really carving corners in amongst the cork forests, and it's been so enjoyable but so easy to ride because of the extra leverage you get to send you through a succession of hairpin corners. Not only that, but it's a great two-up bike. You can see that these grab handles for passenger are really substantial, and actually I've tried it myself, very reassuring. The riding position, as I said, is a little bit higher, but what they've done is they've narrowed the waist of the bike so that shorter riders, particularly women, will feel very much at home on this. Almost anybody will be able to put their feet flat on the ground on this bike. But the great thing about it is the engine. This is really a step forward. Triumph are pretty good at making three-cylinder engines. They've got more experience of it than anybody else in the world. But although it's not a performance bike, what this is a completely easy and yet satisfying motor to ride. It's got a gearbox that's like butter. It's so easy to change gear. Neutral is infallible. You'll always be able to find it. It has a flat torque curve that it'll allow you to pull away from under 2,000 revs in top gear without snatching the transmission. So that this is essentially Triumph's equivalent of a maxi scooter. You hardly have to change gear at all if you don't want to. On the other hand, as we've just been discovering today, it's great to hold third and fourth gear all the way through a succession of hairpin corners or fast sweepers and even short straights. Just let the engine run right up to its peak revs, around 8,500 RPM, and you can really treat it as a semi-automatic. But on the other hand, if you really want to go for it, it's also rewarding to do that. I think what this bike really is everything to all people. It's great for entry-level riders. The pickup off the closed throttle is smooth. There's no jerk that you get in a lot of Triumph's rivals. It's got a three-cylinder motor compared to a twin, again, as most of its rivals do, or even a single. So it has top-end performance, but because the power delivery is so smooth and linear, it's also very, very easy to ride gently. You can go through towns and villages in top gear and pull away smoothly at the end of the restriction, and you'll find that again it just rewards the smooth and effortless pickup of a closed throttle, from a closed throttle. It's got an adjustable screen, which I have to say is one of the best I've ever come across. It's over 80 millimeters in height, and it goes There are 7 different positions, and you can do it one-handedly as it suits you riding along. Criticisms. Well, I've only found 2. The first is the screen does protect your helmet and the top end of your body, but it still hits the shoulders quite hard. If you're going along at 120 k's, 75 miles an hour, you do feel wind blast in your shoulders. It would have been nice if they just added a couple of extra deflectors on either side of the screen, just to be able to protect your shoulders a bit better. I think that the lack of cruise control is strange, because people using it for commuting, and that will include more experienced riders who want a go-anywhere bike that they can ride at weekends, go to the pub with, go to work on, they'll relish having a cruise control, and it's not even available as an option. What is available as an option is a power shifter. We didn't have it on this bike, but I can imagine again that would be a good bonus to have. What it has got on this one is heated grips, 3-stage heated grips. What it has also, none of its rivals in this middleweight sector have, is a choice of engine maps, of riding modes. You can have either road, which we're using all the time in this lovely Portuguese weather, but there's also a rain map, which would again be very welcome for commuters, for newbies. This is a motorcycle that potentially has the ability to be all things to all people, and that means women and men. It means novice riders, first-timers, but also more experienced people, frankly, like myself. This is not a push out the car alone, but I would be very happy to have this in my garage to use anytime, anywhere, any place. In between that, you'll find, I think, a lot of people will have this as their second bike because it's so flexible and it's so versatile. But most important of all, this really is one of the 2 models, together with the Trident, which is taking Triumph into sectors that they hadn't been recently. This is an entry-level bike for all kinds of people, but it's also a motorcycle that will appeal to more experienced riders. A Moto totale. So long.